welcome to CoinDesk live from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai, brought to you by Cello. I'm Jen Sanasi.
And I am Sam Ewan. We're here.
We are here for day two.
Day two it is.
We had a fantastic broadcast yesterday.
Absolutely.
A lot of really awesome guests from all over the globe, meeting here in the United Arab Emirates to talk about progress in the Middle East. Sam, it wasn't only about the conversations here at the desk, it was about what was going on the show floor here at Binance Blockchain Week. And I have to say, yesterday you said you were going to get in a bungee situation.
I was.
And you didn't.
And I didn't. But I did go down a large slide.
You did go down a large slide.
Yeah, there was a big line for the bungee, and so I decided to go for the easy path, which was straight down.
Yes, the path of least resistance.
Exactly, but it was a good time.
I mean, walking the floor yesterday, almost every major firm has a presence here. We were talking to the folks at Cello and Binance yesterday. Really important for them to highlight other ecosystems as well as their own to accelerate the growth of this industry. So nice to see the representation. Yeah,
I would say, we get to do these. We have the luxury of being brought around the world to meet people, talk to people, see what's happening in the ecosystem. Binance has a very vibrant community, as we know. Tons of KOLs, tons of builders, a lot of people who are really trying to chart the future of this ecosystem. And I think UAE, Dubai, I think has a lot of energy going on. And you're asking a lot of the folks who came on stream with us yesterday about that. What were your takeaways from what they were saying about Dubai itself?
For me, I focus a lot on what's happening from a regulatory perspective. And one of the big takeaways from yesterday was that Dubai really has been and is so far ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to having clear regulation implemented that firms can follow. It's clear that other jurisdictions around the world are looking to the Middle East to inform their own legal strategies. I know we're going to talk about some legal strategies in other jurisdictions, have some folks from some other governments here at the desk today to talk about how they're looking at the Middle East. But I think that's what really stood out for me was that regulatory progress that's been made here in the UAE and what that's done for firms like Binance who are headquartered here.
Love that. I also think we should not discount some of the big names who came to this event. I know we have Abu Dhabi Finance Week next week, so some folks are probably staying around, but the talk of yesterday was Michael Saylor on stage. I think just the fact of Michael Saylor being at Binance's event in Dubai says to me, here's someone who really wants to proselytize about Bitcoin all around the world, is not wedded to anything other than his commitment to the chain and to the coin. And I think it's just wild to see that everywhere we go around the globe, people are having a similar conversation about their excitement, their enthusiasm, about what we're all trying to build together in this industry, and I think it's very exciting. Today we have some big folks coming up on the main stage. CZ is ending the day with Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff will be on the desk with us to talk a little bit about their big bet. But we also have some just really, really solid folks who are going to be stopping by our desk, which I'm very excited about, as well as on the main stage. It's going to be a great day.
It is going to be a great day. You were mentioning the thriving community within the Binance ecosystem. Binance Angels are walking all around.
Yes.
We learned yesterday that Binance Angels are very region specific. Their mission is to educate people in different regions about crypto there. And so talking to some of the Binance Angels, learning about progress here in the United Arab Emirates has been really interesting. We are going to have someone at the desk later on today who was a former Binance Angel and is now leading community events down in Latin America. I know you and I love to talk about the progress that's being made in Latin America. So while the conversation starts here in the UAE, we really are broadening things out to learn about what's happening in the rest of the world.
Absolutely. I will also say, Jen, after walking on the floor yesterday and today, there's still a lot of gaming happening. There's still a lot of DeFi going on. There are people who are really building everything from prediction markets to different sort of payroll systems. Really, there's so much happening in the space, and I think we sometimes forget it takes a little while for this stuff to happen. I think about the amount of time it may have taken for folks to be comfortable putting their credit card into the internet. And now I know we are talking very much about what is even the reality of digital identity in the space, which is it's a big topic people are talking about, both privacy and what does it mean to be human in an AI world. I think we have a guest ready who can talk about this with us.
Well, let's get to our first guest now, CEO and co-founder of Self Protocol, Eric Nakagawa. Hello, Eric.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Let's just start off. We're here in the United Arab Emirates. We're here at Binance Blockchain Week. How's your first day?
My first day has been incredible. Got to meet a lot of people and also got to enjoy a lot of parties and things like that. Just getting to meet people that are really making stuff happen in the space.
It really is about being here IRL. I know a lot of people were enjoying parties last night, so we might get a little bit of a slower start to the day today.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Self. Sam was just mentioning privacy and identity, and these are two themes that are so important when we talk about the progress of this industry from a regulatory perspective, from a safety perspective. Talk to us a little bit about your mission. What makes privacy so important to you? What drives you?
Got it. So Self is a ZK-powered privacy identity protocol. And what we're trying to do is actually give power to the user so that they have basically control of their information. One of the hardest parts for anybody, doesn't matter which country you're in, is that fear of having your information get shared somewhere. And with the technology we're building, especially with this new technology called zero knowledge, you're actually able to create these zero knowledge proofs, which allow you to prove that the information is real. With AI coming, there is actually, when I'm looking through my social media feeds, I sometimes can't tell, like, is that a real person? Is this content real? Is it a bot? I mean, the username looks like a bot. Is it? It's hard to tell. But with identity, the same technology that's being used to kind of like fill your feed is also being used to potentially trick people into thinking they're you or trick people into thinking they're someone else. With the technology we're building, we're actually able to use biometric ID cards, biometric passports, and now Aadhaar, which is an Indian identity protocol, to verify that it's real and then reveal only a little bit of it. So instead of like giving or taking a picture of your entire ID card or your entire passport, you can just share just that you're a human. That's really important, right? And then share just a little bit about yourself, like maybe you're over the age of 18 or something like that. And we think by bringing this identity protocol to Web3, it's not only going to help blockchain, but it's also going to help the entire internet. Because I think this is one thing that we're all worried about is losing our identity, information getting abused or used in a way that we're not happy with. And we want people to be able to like prove, like allow and approve these requests because it's a scary place out there.
Are people worried about it enough, though? Because you talk about this fear, and I think that we can agree that the fear is there, but it almost operates in the background, and we let it go for convenience. You know, we have one login across multiple different platforms. We'll give up biometrics to get on a plane faster. How do you help folks really understand what that means for them in the future we're heading towards?
So it's a good question because I think a lot of people, when they're dealing with their identity or when they're dealing with some information that's been maybe let go, I think everybody has been in America has had a breach of some sort. I would say that we want people to be able to have agency. I think that's the main thing. Like if something is out there, that's one thing. But if you're willingly giving it away or it's kind of being let go, like a lot of people are actually more concerned about doing it. In some of our use cases, we've actually talked with people, asking them to try our products and try different things like that. And in many cases, no amount of money is enough for them to do it. So it's odd to think that like I also click the buttons really quick when I'm trying to read news, but I also wouldn't just give you my passport information. So I think there's a bit of disconnect here, and I think ultimately educating people about their information and again building the trust in a trustless way, I think is one way that we can help people learn that with all the regulations that are happening, there's people that are looking out for the use and misuse of this information. And with new technology like what we're building with Self, I think you're actually able to help to change and shift some of the expectations that people have, and even regulations, adjust those in a way that like it can be a little bit more forward-thinking, while still using some of the best technology to secure information. Ultimately,
Eric, you guys just announced, I think it's a $9 million raise. You just launched your point system on Self as well. Tell us about kind of where you see this going now that you have really the validity and the backing of some of the like main players in our ecosystem.
Yeah, so we actually already have a bunch of partnerships announced. We recently announced a partnership with Google, Google Web3, helping to power some upcoming faucets. So one of the interesting things about faucets is most people when they're interacting with blockchain, they need to buy a token or get something to start interacting. It's becoming a lot easier now with things like what Cella's been doing, where you can like pay for gas, which a lot of people, what is gas? Nobody thinks about that. But when you get started, you need to pay for gas to interact with blockchain. Google's gonna be using Self to power and protect access to these faucets, because a lot of times bots and things like that will come in and drain the whole thing, and then it's no fun for anybody. Nobody can get started. It's really hard. And so this technology, with the fundraise that we have, allows us to expand into helping support even more integrations. I'm really excited about the partners that we've had so far. We've so far worked with Google. We have Aave, which is a DeFi protocol, and Velodrome, and a bunch coming soon. And our big excitement is integrating Self into wallets. And basically, one of the big things here is most people are interacting with blockchain not through just a computer. It's usually through their phone, and it's usually through a wallet. We're all interacting, buying something, selling something, swapping something, sending, and it's happening on your phone. It's happening in a wallet. And if you can bring that technology there, guess what? Now application developers can tell if someone is real. What does it mean if we're dealing with a blockchain or blockchain users that are verified people? I think ultimately, like I'm talking to two people here, I love talking to people. We're in a world now where like I can't tell the difference. Once I go online, I can't tell the difference. And with additional support, partnerships, we think we can bring this technology to all of blockchain and all the internet. Yeah.
What's the incentive for a firm like Google to partner with Self? Because Google has built a whole business on getting data from people that they don't necessarily need to offer their services. What's the business incentive there, and what does it say about the future we're heading towards?
So one of the reasons I think Google's working with us is we're actually one of their first partners to introduce the idea of zero knowledge. So I think zero knowledge ultimately is a new technology. And with the new technology, Google and other big companies are always interested in figuring out, like, can they do things a little bit differently, maybe better? And so for their interacting with us, or why they're working with us, is they want to try the newest technology. And for one of the big focuses we have is providing a technology that's already live. It's not coming soon, so it's already live, and they're able to integrate, and coming very soon to the Web3 world is a way for people to come and use these services. I think other reason people are using these projects, or why projects would use us, is like, again, a lot of times when there's a great idea, like it starts with a white paper, takes a long time to be developed. In our case, we're able to, we've been working on this for so many years already that it's already here. And I think that part is very valuable and will help to influence potentially how they look forward to the tech and how they contribute to any of the new technology that's coming next, beyond zero knowledge. Yeah.
I was in Paris probably 2 years ago, got my eyeball scanned for World. There is something very invasive about that kind of experience. After downloading your app, it sounds like you just scan your passport. How worried do I have to be, similarly, of how much am I giving into Self? Like, how do you keep my data safe?
So, yes, there are different ways for getting information, trying to figure out if someone's a unique person. What we're actually doing is we're not scanning your passport. We're actually reading the data in the passport. Actually, biometric ID cards and biometric passports have this kind of weird gibberish text at the bottom. Yeah, I never really understood what it was, but what it actually does, it helps to unlock in biometric passports and ID cards the NFC chip. And so we're actually able to read it by using that information. We don't take a picture of your data. We read it and then we unlock it, and we actually store it on the phone. So all the information is held in the device. And in that case, there's nothing to hack. There's no centralized database to hack, right? It's in your phone, you get to share it, and the user has ultimate control. And so for me, the difference in many of we're all trying to solve these problems. But one of the biggest differences for me is that I get to approve of when my information gets used, and you can't use it unless I've approved it. And that, to me, that agency, that sense of kind of being a part of the decision, I think is really important, especially in a world where people can request information, read information on blockchain historically and things like that, and use data that you're not. Maybe you gave it away at the beginning, but how do you go back and change your mind? I think that's the part. And with Self, you're able to no longer share, or in many cases, you can actually review the request. So if someone's asking to prove you're a person, easy. If you're trying to ask for all your information, you really should, you can review that and you can decide whether or not you want to do it. And ultimately, it should be the person's decision whether or not they're going to give away more of their information. And any future request has to go through it again. So is it constantly pinging back and forth to see, is it still valid, yes or no? So what we are able to do is actually create these zero knowledge proofs, and those proofs can then be processed by the application. And ultimately, the interesting thing about passports is that it's not fun, but sometimes they expire. And sometimes they get invalidated, and so we're able to adjust and revoke these sorts of things to make it so that the person or the application has to request the stuff, And they, depending on how they're designed, it allows them to basically get the most accurate information because they also want to know the most accurate information about a person. And if you have the person in control of all of it, ultimately, I think that's the most important part and the biggest difference.
Sam mentioned the point system, and I want to learn a little bit more about it because when we talk about having agency over our data, it really is, being rewarded or paid for how much data we want to give away and keep because it is ours, right? So how does the point system work? How are people being rewarded for interacting with the platform, and what does that mean?
Yeah, so the point system is something we added recently because we realized that a lot of people were a little bit skittish about kind of using a new technology. And even though we have all the proofs and everything is open source and audited, which is a very big part in our space, sometimes people need a little bit of a push. And so a little bit of points have been helpful to get people to interact. And in many cases, it's as simple as proving you're a human. And in some cases, it's a way to bring them back and have them basically help us improve the protocol. So ultimately, points are helping people have a little fun and then also help us improve our experience for the users.
All right, Eric, we got to go. The whole
Okay.
crew is going to yell at me in 2 seconds, but I got to ask you, we're here in the United Arab Emirates, we're here in Dubai. Why is it important for you to be here having conversations in the region?
So one of the reasons I'm here is the last time I was here for a totally different event, I got to meet a lot of really smart people. And the fact that all these people are here together means I can meet a lot of people very, very quickly. And I also see a lot of people here that are from the UAE and Dubai, and I see a lot of people showing up. And to me, that really matters when people are showing up and actually hearing the future that we want to build together.
Eric, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Eric.
That was the CEO of Self Protocol, Eric Nakagawa. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Join me on Binance.
Welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We are coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai, brought to you by title sponsor Celo, a leading Ethereum layer 2. Joining us now is the co-founder of Propi, a company dedicated to tokenizing global real estate, Denitsa Valyavets. Hey, Denitsa.
Hello.
Hello,
Nice
Denitsa.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to see you here. You're going to be on a panel talking at Binance Blockchain Week. Let's just zoom out for a second. We're here in the United Arab Emirates, lots of real estate all around.
Crazy.
How are you looking at the market here through the Propi lens?
Okay, so let me go back a little bit. So Propi's main mission is to build this infrastructure layer for property ownership transfer, closing, and title. And we are US first. This is our main market. But we've been proving that this standard that we've built and this infrastructure layer is working in US for the past years. And now when we look at what's next in terms of global, what's the next hub, it totally makes sense that Dubai is the main hub for real estate and the whole MENA region. That's the place you go next when you look at how you turn this standard that's proven to work and to close. We've closed over 5 billion in transaction in US. So it's not a sandbox anymore. We're not talking about proof of concept. We're way beyond that. So Dubai is a place that is looking way forward when it comes to real estate. Here, even if you look at the market today, if you don't touch it, it's already liquid enough, it's fast enough. The obstacles that are here are way less than they are generally worldwide, but we believe that our mission is to connect what we've built with what they already have as a vision to bring it to the next level of wallet to wallet instant closings within, couple of clicks and you just bought an apartment. So that's Propi's vision.
That's someone who purchased a property recently. That sounds wild.
Right? Where did you buy your property, by the way?
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
Yes.
And I can tell you a crazy story. Thanksgiving now, and we introduced the AI agent recently. So the AI agent is working obviously on Thanksgiving. So we had so many closing, openings, and transactions done during the Thanksgiving weekend in the United States because everything happened from offer being sent to the sign of the purchase agreement to deposit payment. Everything is done by AI. Imagine that. So the closing, it's literally minutes, not weeks.
So Denise, the thing that I'm interested in is your business, because I know you guys are in the title side of it, and you're and in the real estate side. For me, it's a very easy way I can discuss to people why agentic AI is coming and why it matters. Because you have a real estate agent, you have a title agent, you have people who are doing this work. In essence, you can get a machine to do it more efficiently, faster, ideally. Because a lot of it is just pushing paperwork from one place to another, filling in some forms, right?
Exactly.
And so AI is a great tool for something like that, where you don't need the personal touch in the same way. But why did you focus on the infrastructure side versus all those who are just saying, oh, we'll just tokenize property and let you just buy it with a wallet?
Well, that's a great question. So first of all, I agree with you that the agentic side of it is bringing enormous efficiency. And we are not displacing the human factor here because human factor is quite important. Purchasing a home is the most important decision in someone's life, I would argue. That's super valuable. It's really valuable asset because it's not just an asset. It has much more to it. And you have people involved in the process. But there is also a lot of back-end inefficiencies happening, a lot of hurdles that can be eliminated thanks to AI. And the reason to focus on the infrastructure layer and why it makes sense for us to start there, it's because we know that this is a real pain. That's the real pain. Now, tokenization is something we look at as a long-term thing that will arrive eventually, but it's still in its infancy, and we are ready for it. We have the whole infrastructure built for it, but the real pain we are solving now and the real value today is for people who are buying homes today. I don't know if you're aware, more than 10% of the new home buyers, let's say in US, are people who made profits from crypto and are using those profits to pay the down payment for their first home. So the trend is there, and Propi is serving not only those consumers, we're serving all types of buyers, fiat currency buyers. So back to the original question,
yes.
We are solving a real problem today, and we are solving it in a way that the whole real estate process is reimagined.
The last time we spoke with Propi, we learned about the $100 million acquisition strategy,
it's
right?
Growing great.
Yeah, and I know that your recent close, the first acquisition in Mobile, Alabama, a title company that has 40% market share in that community. How is that going to change the real estate process for folks in that community?
So for them, initially, maybe nothing will change, right? Because there is an integration process going on. But suddenly, I'm sure there would be the buzz of the world. The closings are happening way faster. Now, think about an agent in that community that wasn't using that title before. It has a client, and an agent is real estate agents. They want to serve their clients. They want to really give them the best possible service. Once they know there is this title company that closed within minutes, it doesn't matter if you represent the seller or the buyer. You want to give them that service. So we believe that there would be even more clients coming to that title company and to that community, back to your question, because of the efficiency that would be brought. And it's like nothing like the traditional title and closing, even though Propi is, we are licensed title and escrow company in US.
So do you think that it's going to be, titles feel like a very easy, not easy to do, but just easy concept to understand. Here's something that AI and infrastructure can help. Are you looking at escrow? Are you looking for it at inspections, other areas within this industry?
The client, the end users, they don't need to know what's behind.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to know what's the protocol behind email, right? You're just benefiting from it. And they're benefiting in terms of efficiency, time. There is no 3 weeks of closing. Forget about it. So they don't need to know. Title and escrow officers who are there is still a human factor. So just to say, we are bringing enormous efficiency, but there is still a human factor there. They're way more productive in what they do. So they can close more transactions. So everything is like the wheel is closed and everyone is winning without having to be crypto native, AI native, any of this.
Now, Denitsa, look into the future for us before we let you go. If you think 1 or 2 years down the line, how does the real estate environment look?
Globally?
Yes.
Globally. Wow, it's always...
Start with the U.S. Start with the U.S.
Well, to me, this is a very, very interesting question because, there is always cycles, right? So we've been seeing a little bit of cooling now in US, but I believe long-term things are always going to, prevail. Homes, unfortunately, there are some people who are struggling and affordability is an issue in US. It's not an issue everywhere around the world. For example, you see Dubai where the markets are booming and here it's totally different story. Overall, that's our vision at Propi. Home is something that's needed no matter what, and we just wish to make it way more easier and faster for people to buy real estate. And I hope, back to the question, that 2 years from now, Propi would be great contributor in this global easiness of purchasing homes and actually helping people to acquire homes even cheaper than now.
Denitsa, thanks so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you also.
All right, that was Denitsa Valjavec, co-founder of Propi. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
on Binance.
Hello and welcome Welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We are at Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. We're now joined by Binance's Chief Marketing Officer, Rachel Conlon. Rachel, thanks for having us here.
Thank you for joining us. It's so exciting to see you guys here.
Now, we got to talk about what's going on. Sam and I did a little recap of some of our favorite moments at the desk from yesterday, a little recap of the floor, but you really have an insider's perspective as to what's going to go on. I know people are looking forward to CZ and Peter Schiff debating on stage later today. I think I saw CZ tweet that he's a little nervous about it, but what are you looking forward to?
Oh, look, there's over 200 speakers across the 2 days, and we've got 55 partners involved. I am very excited about the debate yesterday. I was very excited about Saylor.
Yeah.
And he brought down the house. I think it was exceptional. We also had His Excellency, Omar, who is incredible and a real pioneer of AI in the region. But there's a lot. We also have our regulatory debate this afternoon, which is so important, especially since what we've seen happen over the last 12 months, like what to expect over the next 12 months. So lots of exciting things happening over the course of today. And of course, all the fun entertainment experiences for those that need to get a little action in.
Sam went down the slide yesterday.
I did go down the slide, yes.
Did you?
Yeah, it was good fun.
Have you done the reverse bungee? Yes.
Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to dare you to it later on, and who can go higher?
I think
We're
you
gonna-
have
we're
to
gonna make
get
it
on
happen.
that
We're gonna make it happen.
apparatus.
Amazing. It's
But-
a lot of fun.
Rachel, you are Chief Marketing Officer. You and I have spoken in the past. Live events, there's nothing like them. So, how do you take something like Binance, which is a digital property, digital exchange, has so many legs and arms everywhere, and really bring that experience to people so that they can really see it and touch it? What's the value there for you?
For us, you're so right. Binance is a digital proposition,
Yeah.
but this is an industry that traditionally has been inherently functional. When you think about finance and you think about financial tools, what we want to do is bring that offline and through these experiences. And what we want this to be is a festival of crypto, where you come, you feel entertained, you feel inspired, but most importantly, you feel educated, and you leave with messages that are relevant for you. And I think this is one of 3,000 events we do a year. Obviously, it's our flagship event, but it's so important to have those emotional connections with the community, with the regulators, with policymakers, with the other founders and builders in the industry, because this is where the magic happens. This is where the ideas come. And the greatest privilege I have is at the many crypto and Web3 events that we are all in attendance at, when you catch up with people and they talk about a business connection they made or an investor they met and how that has then carved out a roadmap for them. And that's what's the exciting moment about them, is the meaningful connections that people are building and what that opens up for kind of future industry opportunities.
We talk so much about education in this industry, but we don't really talk about where that education starts. We don't talk about how we're going to educate folks. And I think it's really interesting that Binance is now focusing on a younger audience, the 6 to 17-year-olds, through a book and Binance Junior. I would love to hear a little bit more about that strategy and what you hope it enables for crypto users of the future.
This is something that's really personal to me, and in fact, the idea for Binance Junior came out of the marketing team's insight that there's not enough financial literacy and education that starts at the home. We don't have it in traditional school systems at the moment. So for us, it's really about creating that opportunity for parents to talk to their children about the importance of saving, about the importance of understanding financial tools for their future wealth and health. And this is something we're really excited about. Binance A to Z is a book that we have developed.
That we have here.
Just handed. This is one that actually was written and designed by the Binance marketing team. It was born out of the insight that many of us who are mothers and fathers on the team, that actually as we read our children bed night stories, we often learn more about the world than we realize, things that we'd forgotten. It's a really simple alphabet book that talks about some of the terms like altcoins to Satoshi and gives a very beginner perspective on it. But it's also a bit of fun, to bring into the family. And the Binance Junior product specifically is something that I think, as you said, it targets 6 to 17-year-olds. It's a way for parents to manage their children's accounts, but also educate them on the different digital assets and the way that they can engage. So, I personally have 8 godchildren, and I've already opened up sub-accounts for them, where I can now, instead of getting them, useless Christmas toys and birthday gifts that will be forgotten about, I'm putting aside a little bit of Bitcoin Bitcoin and BNB for them, on those key milestones and talking to them about it. And it's just a great way to get all of the family involved and ensure that we're setting up our future generations for success.
I mean, Rachel, what's funny is in 2015, I gave my daughter Bitcoin as a present, her and my nephew, and I had to literally give them a paper wallet, right? They had to put something that I was like, just keep this in a safe place no matter what.
Yeah.
Luckily, they kept it. But I think, I do think there's something where I wrote an article recently about how today's youth are growing up in a world where they're seamlessly going back and forth between digital and physical, and virtual economies are as normal to them as a physical economy. So I love the idea that we can start them young to say digital assets have value and will only increase the more digital assets there are, and we're never going to have less.
Yes.
And so I love that you guys are doing this.
Yeah.
Is there an insight of how do we get more kids having conversations about responsible investing? Like, what's the way we can sort of have them think less about the degen culture of crypto and more about the way this can help improve their lives?
Well, I think this is an alternative. Like many people started, like in Ireland, where I'm from, I started with a post office account.
Yeah, right.
And I was given that at 12 years old, and you get that funding, but no one really ever explained it to me. So, I think it's really important for parents to sit down at the dinner table. I have friends that now have their kids pitch ideas, and if the idea is good for a lemonade stand, they'll get, 20 dirhams or $100 in the US, because you need that in the US to set up a lemonade stand, to be able to encourage that entrepreneurialism and encourage them to take stock of what is the value of fiat or a digital asset and what that means in terms of what they're purchasing. And I think that's really important to instill those values at a young age, and to also educate individuals and children on the fact that financial inclusion is not something that everyone has. And I think those conversations really, really need to start in the home in order for us to set them up for success at a later stage.
Sam, I think you hit it on the head. Kids these days, I think, are a lot more informed about digital economies, and we like to give them credit. And I almost see this as an accessible way to educate the parents and for them to have those conversations, because crypto can feel so inaccessible, really hard to understand. We really focus on the technical language sometimes when we don't need to. And what a great way to have these multi-generational conversations about financial inclusion. I think it's really great.
Yeah, I think it's a fun way, and it's an entertaining way for you to bring it into the home that isn't always about the serious side of this. And we really feel actually the audience for this isn't necessarily the degens. We have lots of our community that are really excited about this, that wanted this product, but I do think this is a way to bring it more to people who are all just starting their journey, whether you be the parent or the grandparent.
I'm just going to throw out, I think this is going to educate the parents more than the kids.
Yeah, right.
The kids will know this stuff. They're very comfortable with the idea that my character has value and that it's something I put a lot of time and effort into.
Yeah.
The parents just don't get it.
I have an 8-year-old godson that's parents think of themselves as very fiscally responsible, and he literally sat down and did a PowerPoint for them on
Stable
what
coins.
is Bitcoin and who is Satoshi. And my girlfriend called me and she was like, I now understand what you do for a job. It's really interesting. And I'm like, that is extraordinary. He would have expected that it was the 8-year-old godchild that articulated to a well-educated friend on what this business is about in the industry. So look, it's fun. It's about being educational, and it's really about how do we open more conversations around this space. And ultimately, we're still so early. How do we go to that, go on that journey to become mainstream?
Rachel, it was such a pleasure having you at the desk. Thanks for having us at the event, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Rachel.
Always good to see you both.
You too.
That was Binance Chief Marketing Officer Rachel Conlon. All right, if you're just joining us, we are coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. Before we get to the rest of our programming, let's take a look at what's going on in the news this morning. All right, our first story, Fanatics is expanding beyond jerseys and collectibles into the world of prediction markets. The sports merchandiser said on Tuesday that it will launch Fanatics markets across 24 U.S. states in phases over the coming days. The app will allow users to trade on the outcome of real-world events, including sports scores. The company plans to expand into crypto prices, IPOs, tech, and more. Fanatics Markets is built in partnership with Crypto.com. Our next story looks at other prediction markets news, where Connecticut accused Robinhood, Kalshi, and Crypto.com of running unlicensed sports betting via contracts markets. The state ordered the companies to cease any sports wagering operations. The state said failure to comply could result in civil or criminal penalties, while Robinhood argued on Wednesday that it's regulated by the federal government. And lastly, 2 key positions in U.S. crypto oversight are advancing this week in the Senate as the chamber sets up a list of dozens of nominees with the plan to consider the confirmation of all at once. This includes Mike Seelig to be the chairman of the CFTC and Travis Hill to be the chairman of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp. Those are your top 3 stories for this morning. If you want to see the latest and greatest news in crypto, head on over to CoinDesk.com. All right, Sam, we are getting into the thick of things. What I love about the last 2 conversations we had with Rachel and Denitsa before that is this narrative that you and I have talked about a lot at this desk as we kind of travel around the world, is that we should be talking about the solutions and not the back-end technology. And that's almost the indicator to the maturation of this industry and the indicator to having just a product that's going to work for people.
I want to reverse that in the sense of starting with the conversation we just had with Rachel. They are creating a kids book, right? Very cute, lovely. How do we teach kids about this stuff? But I really do believe the kids already know.
Totally, I agree with you.
Then I think we reverse going back to Denitsa's conversation. And we think about it through the lens of, if I am a homeowner who right now I'm a home buyer who I'm 21 years old, I made a little bit of money in the market or wherever I am, I just got my first big job, whatever it may be, I don't want to play in the old system.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there and sign stacks and stacks of papers
It's
and
horrible,
go
Sam.
through it. Something that feels so archaic. And I love what Denitsa was saying. This is an opportunity for us to reimagine the way in which we are thinking about really just the sort of basics of how we do life, and we just did it for so long because we were told to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Crypto's never been very comfortable with we were just told to do that. It's always been, let's rip this down, let's see if we can build it more efficiently, let's see if we can strip out some of the pain points and some of the fees. And to me, that's a really exciting area for us to be playing in. So that was sort of what really struck with me over the last number of conversations, even back to self. Right?
I was just going to say that. Let's go even one step backwards. We're talking about ZK proofs for digital identity, making the sharing of data more efficient, more safe, and we're seeing examples of that all over the world. I mean, you weren't with me, but I was in Argentina doing CoinDesk Live last year, where we learned that in Buenos Aires, the government is already piloting projects like this. People are already using blockchain rails to share information about themselves, to digitize their government documents. And so it's already happening. It's not just the technology that we are talking about. We're not just talking about plans for it to happen. We're seeing real use cases all over the world.
Jen, it reminds me, you and I were in London a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And we were, as we are known to do, went to go get an after-work drink.
We are known to do.
So we went to go get an after-work drink, and the place we went to said, great, we need to see your ID. They take this ID, they put it on a scanner, suddenly in a giant monitor is my ID with my actual age. Now, I'm not too embarrassed about my age, but let's just say I happen to be on a date or something like that. Maybe I want to say, I don't want the person to know exactly how old I am, but it was literally plastered for the entire bar to see. And that's where I think ZK proofs, the idea that I can tap in and it says, yes, you're of age, I don't need to scan your license, I don't need to do all that.
I don't need to know your address.
I don't need to know your address or put your address up in front of everybody as well. It's an archaic way we look at things that has to be reimagined, and I loved what Eric said. I mean, they are really looking at a very smart, stable way of how do we bring this into the future.
Well, let's talk about that bar for a second. I showed up at that bar with no ID. I had a picture of my passport on my phone, and they accepted that as ID. But imagine I could just tap my phone. I can open up an app. I don't need to carry all these documents around. I don't need to worry about losing my passport if I'm traveling internationally. So really, all of these problems that we have experienced, so I'm sure others have experienced, can be solved, and they are being solved.
Yeah, and the third thing about all of this is none of this cares whether you know which
100%.
blockchain you're on. It just wants to work. And I think there's so many people, builders here who are about to speak to, all of these folks that are really they're just really focusing on how do we build forward, build great technology, create an operating system for the future of the internet, and get people to sort of be comfortable with the idea of native money that's digital. We don't need to play in the worlds that our parents or our grandparents grew up in, which is not to say those weren't great times, but technology exists for a reason, and I just think we need to lever into it. In an event like this, we get to do that.
We sure do. Let's get to our next conversation because we're going to learn about celebrating the folks who are innovating in the space, who are doing exactly what you're talking about, who are reporting, who are sharing information. We're joined now at the desk by co-founder of Celo, Renee Reinsberg, back for day 2, and Leon, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
Nice to...
It's
Good to be
pleasure
back.
be here. It's the first time.
Yeah, okay, well, amazing. It's great to have you both at the desk. We are talking about celebration. We are talking about winners and recognition. You have something in your hands, Renee, so just show it to our audience.
All right. I'm very excited to present CoinDesk on behalf of Binance, the Blockchain 100 Awards 2025.
Well, thank you very much,
Congrats, guys.
Renee.
Yeah.
We love this. Do you love it?
I
gonna
feel
hold
honored.
it.
I'm choked up right now.
Yeah. We didn't prepare a speech.
No
Right.
speech from you guys.
Renee, tell us about what these Blockchain 100 Awards were yesterday. I know you were there. I know you guys were a part of it.
Yeah.
Who are you recognizing? Why are you recognizing? And why is it important for us to celebrate ourselves?
No, look, I had the honor as a guest to be a part of the ceremony yesterday that Binance put on, and it honored and celebrated the 100 sort of biggest thought leaders, storytellers, community builders in the space, and it was just phenomenal to see everyone come up on stage and just feeling so happy to be a part of building this industry. So yeah, I had a great time.
Leon, you received one of these plaques, I believe.
Industry advocate. Yeah.
Yeah, well, talk to us a little bit about your advocacy for the industry. What are you doing, and what drives you to continue doing what you're doing?
I joined this industry for almost 10 years. So at the beginning, I was just a trader, and then I find that DeFi is pretty interesting. So I jumped into DeFi summer. I'm one of the earliest Chinese people to do the DeFi and farming. And then at that time, I think BNB Chain come out, and I built my community and become one of the biggest Chinese crypto community and based on WeChat. And then right now, I mainly operate my Twitter account, and I'm the top number one Kaito KOL in Chinese language. Yeah, it's kind of a KOL role, and I'm proud I'm still maintain the top KOLs in China, and that's what I'm doing.
Sam and I have been talking about accessibility and education a lot at the desk this morning. What kind of questions are your followers asking you? How are you engaging them to help educate and help them learn more about crypto?
Good question. So actually, I think the KOLs become more and more important recently. I think there are different kind of KOLs. So one is kind of KOLs who will do their work heavily. They do the due diligence, they do the data analysis. They will put a lot of time try to figure out whether the project is solid or not. Because there are pretty a lot of project teams, they come out just for make some money and then they give away. So that's part of the KOLs. And another part is they just share the tokens, they try to make some quick money. So it's different. So right now, I think because it's quite more and more difficult to make easy money in this industry. So right now, people they try to follow the solid KOLs who will not easily buy projects, give some money and then just share a token. Okay, in this kind of KOLs, people find they're not worth to follow. But I think one of the reasons why I can keep the top because me and some other KOLs, especially in Chinese, so we have making enough money. And we refuse offers every day, thousands of worth of the offers, and just trying to figure out which is the best projects to invest. So we build up the reputation, the belief, and that's why I think people think, we want to follow and try to make some money through these people. Yeah, that's the value.
Renee, I'm interested in your guys' approach to this in the sense that there's all these ambassadors around the world, whether you know them or not, who are just big stands of Celo, and they're really interested in what you guys are building. it must be sort of humbling to know that there's people you don't know who are just championing your project all around the world. You guys are in, especially, LATAM, Africa, Southeast Asia, places where you really need folks like Leon to be talking about it. How do you look at how to educate the KOLs to make sure they're giving the right information to the audience?
Look, I think KOLs are probably one of the most misunderstood kind of things in crypto, right? Because a lot of what I think people think, especially in the West, when they think about KOLs, they think about someone talking about, oh, Bitcoin is going up by this much or going down, right? And like having these channels and where, like things don't really make sense for someone who's coming at this from a more technical mindset, right? But Leon, as an example, it's just been amazing to spend time, even last night, with some of these folks who they're doing real research, right? They're really going in, they're understanding the technology. They're not willing to put their name to a project just for a quick buck, right? But they know their own reputation is ultimately more important than like a short-term gain. And I think that's really powerful, especially, and maybe this is like the second big trend, right? Like that we have LLMs, right? Like it's so easy to put content out there online now, and for the typical regular user coming into the space, how do you know what's real, what's not, right? What content to trust? And so KOLs, I think, are playing an even more important role. If I know, oh, there's a person who I know is real, I'm following, they have been giving me good advice, right? They've been educating me. I think that's even more important maybe now than in the early days of crypto, where I think the world was simpler, right? There were much less applications and tokens, but also we didn't have sort of the AI sort of challenge looming over us. So I think those are big factors.
I want to just also follow up by saying, when we look at the top 10 jobs that kids want to do right now, inevitably in there is a KOL, is an influencer, whether it's YouTube, whatever it may be. I don't think any of these kids understand the amount of work it takes to actually do it well. Yeah. Produce your content day in, day out, do all the research, get the knowledge where you can digest this in a way that people really have an affinity towards. Leon, how much work do you put in, the amount of time you might be on camera versus the amount of time you have to do the work to get to that few-minute video? How does that work out for you?
Before the AI pump out, I'm gonna put around 16 hours per day to do my work, just in front of my laptop. I also talk with the people, the reliable people in this industry, such as VCs and other friends, whether this team is valid or not. I'll talk with them face to face, such as this time I talked with Renee and thought, okay, Celo is pretty good. But however, there's a gap between Chinese crypto communities with Western communities. So that's why I jump into this kind of events, conference, and try to figure out the opportunity to talk to each other. And then after AI has come out, it makes me easier. So maybe 8 hours per day to do the investigation. But now I think I need to try to do more work to educate my followers to have a better habit to figure out which is the best projects or not. So it's more and more projects right now on the market, especially the meme come out. Oh, so many over there. So I think the KOLs, they are trying to help the followers to save their time and energy and make more money. Yeah.
And lastly, Renee, I know Celo is the title sponsor here at Binance Blockchain Week. Celo and Binance have a shared mission to really accelerate global adoption. We spoke yesterday about the mission of MiniPay to get 1 billion users by 2030. Talk to us a little bit about how important it is, or where KOLs fit into the story of global adoption, and to have the conversations that you had at the award ceremony last night, not only with KOLs, but the press, other ecosystems. How do all the pieces fit together?
Yeah, we were just chatting about this actually a little bit. I think KOLs play such an important role, right? And I think they're, I don't know how it was about you guys, but for me it was a friend who was nagging me to look into this stuff, right? Look into this crypto thing. It's real, spend some time. And I think everybody needs someone in their life, right, who holds their hand and brings them into the space. And for many people, maybe that's not a friend or neighbor, but it is actually a KOL. It's someone they respect, they already follow, right? And I think the lines are going to get maybe more blurry in terms of you don't have to be a crypto specific KOL, right? But you're you're really someone who is trusted, who is sort of an kind of an authority, kind of similar to like back in the day we had like people doing the tech reviews on like new products coming out, right? And so I think that's really powerful because we're still early, right? I think this is the whole topic from yesterday too. We want to onboard billions of people to actually be really active on chain, not just to maybe buy a token once, but really use it on an everyday basis. We need a lot more education, a lot more work to be done. And I think from a seller perspective, we're looking to put out information. We're looking to do a lot of, continuing to do community events. I mean, the roadshow is an example to connect with builders and really, honestly, any community member that shows up, right? We're never going to turn someone down who shows up and say, oh, you're not a builder. Sorry, no. If you're here to learn, if you're here to build with us and be part of the community, spread the word, amazing. We're happy to work together.
As long as Leon's not here to take our job, we love that this is happening.
Maybe Leon could join us. Right?
Join us, Leon.
It's not about displacing, it's about collaborating.
So true. It's my pleasure.
Renee, Leon, it was such a pleasure to have you at the desk. Thank you for
Congrats
the
again,
thank you for the award.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
Congrats.
And I'm sure we'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Cello co-founder Renee Reinsberg and KOL Leon. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
on Binance.
Welcome back to Binance Blockchain Week. You are watching CoinDesk Live, and we are coming to you from Dubai. Our next guest joins us here. We have Chairman of the Pakistan Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority and Minister of State, Bilal bin Saqib. Hello, Bilal.
Hi, very nice to be here.
Pleasure to have you here. Since the last time we spoke, it seems like you've got a little bit of a promotion. You are now chairman of the regulator in Pakistan and Minister of State. Let's just start here. Talk to us about the state of crypto in Pakistan. What kind of progress have you made since you've taken this position?
So I think the biggest progress is that for the past decade, there was a lot of confusion. There was nothing. People, didn't really know it's legal, illegal, etc. But now at least we have a mandate. So we've set up Pakistan's first independent digital assets regulatory authority that has been given the mandate to incubate and accelerate crypto in Pakistan. All the licensing, all the education. And I think that that's sort of our biggest achievement, to turn confusion into clarity and have like one window operation so things can move.
How hungry is the region for crypto in terms of the general public?
See, without any regulatory framework, we now are the third biggest market when it comes to crypto adoption. And this is without taking any sort of measures to promote crypto. Why is this so? Is that the average age of the country is 23. We are 250 million people. If the youth of this country was to be an independent country, it would have been the 9th biggest country. And they are tech savvy. And they are already living in stable coins even before there is any regulation. They are already on chain, and they are experimenting, and they want to live in the future. They don't want to live in today's financial world.
They want to be in tomorrow.
Yeah, and hence why I think, because we have a very tech-savvy youth, that is what is the driving force, and this is where the leadership wants to work and wants to create an enabling environment for them, so they should flourish, not just from a trading perspective. We want to create a global case study out of Pakistan on a few things. You see, we want to achieve a Guinness Book of World Record in bringing together a regulatory framework which is FATF compliant. Of course, making sure, as the regulator, I can't but we don't want to use that traditional mindset. We want to reinvent the wheel, and we want to show the world that you don't need to spend years trying to figure it out. And hence why we want to create a case study where we regulate this in a way, and we create this case study that everything, all the stakeholders should come into one window, and that should be the medium.
The last time you and I spoke, we spoke about a strategic Bitcoin reserve in Pakistan. How has that been going? I know it's been implemented since we spoke last. And we also talked about using excess energy for Bitcoin mining and AI data centers. Is that part of the, experiment that you're doing, this use case that you're putting together?
No. This is not a use case at all. This is the need of the hour, with AI especially. And I think Bitcoin mining is your first step to create the momentum towards the real price, which is having sovereign compute for a country where we have the third largest freelancer market in the world. They are at the risk of going out of business if we do not put in the right enabling environment and infrastructure for inference, where all of these engineers can start to build their own agentic workflow. So AI data centers are extremely important. We are en route for our first phase of Bitcoin mining. And of course, that wallet is being set up now, and we'll be announcing a lot of great news on our reserves.
You talk about sovereign compute, which is a great way to think about this. Then you talk about how big the freelance market is there. I can't help but think about the importance of stablecoins and what you guys are trying to build. So how are people utilizing stablecoins? What are you trying to work with in Pakistan in order to make sure there's an easy flow back and forth of these dollars?
See, we receive over $36 billion in remittances. Now tell me of a more beautiful use case of stablecoins where we can even save that extra 3% of somebody sending that $500 from the UAE back to a city or a village in Pakistan. So I think emerging economies are one of the greatest use cases. So of course we can do it for remittances. And then there's so many different ways. Pakistan also still has 100 million unbanked people. So we want to take this leapfrog and essentially unbank and also target the unbanked people using our stablecoin, and we want to use our own stablecoin, of course, to facilitate the entrepreneurs and the exporters of our country, so that the settlement can happen instantly.
When you say your stablecoin, is Pakistan creating its own stablecoin or CBDC?
Yes, we are working on both to experiment, but Pakistan will definitely launch its own stablecoin. I think it's a great way to also to collateralize the government debt, and we want to be at the forefront of this financial digital innovation that is happening. Why should we be at the tail end of it when we have the muscle and the adoption?
Well, I love your passion about this. What got you excited about crypto in the first place?
Well, it's always a friend.
We were just talking
It was a bored ape,
this.
right, who came in.
This was back in 2016. And, I kind of got introduced to my first Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then we used to mine some sort of Bitcoin out of my brother's university dorm room.
Was that allowed?
Don't tell anybody.
Now I'm doing we were still naive then. Yeah. But I think all innovation kind of happens like this, right? And so we've been experimenting, and I think that that's the whole idea of crypto, where these emerging technologies, where the future of finance must now come. And it's great to see when BlackRock and JP Morgan and all of these big institutions are talking about tokenization and stable coins. It really kind of helps building the momentum in the global south, where you might not necessarily have that sort of intellectual capital and memory and adoption. So it kind of really helps with all of this.
Bilal, thanks so much for joining us at the desk. It was a pleasure seeing you again, and I'm sure we'll see you around the event.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
Bilal.
me. Thank you.
That was Bilal bin Saqib, chairman of Pakistan's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority and Minister of State. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Join me on Binance.
Hey everyone, welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We are coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week, brought to you by Cello. I'm Jen Sanasi, here with my co-host Sam Ewan, and we are getting things going today. We were just talking to Pakistan's regulator, and the energy he brought, it sounds like he's really pushing forward to do so many things that will benefit the Pakistan people, and I can only imagine that he's engaging with regulators here in the UAE to see how they've been doing it for the last few years.
Yeah, I love that conversation. I want to go back and watch it when we're done, because, and this is what I love what we get to do, right? We talk to people all around the world. We had similar revelations. We were in Korea, in Singapore, all of these markets. I know Gabby's coming up next. He knows the world of the Philippines so well, but there are so many places where crypto is not only just an interest to people, but is an imperative for their future. And I thought what Bilal was saying about how ripe that country is for crypto to be a core sort of infrastructure opportunity for people to get to the place we want them to get to in terms of adoption, usage, infrastructure, just like understanding the future of technology. It was just really inspiring to me.
Something we didn't mention when we were talking to Bilal was that Bilal is a Forbes 30 under 30 in Pakistan.
Yes.
He said, the population in Pakistan is very young.
23.
I think he said median age is 23 years old. And so, I think it's very progressive to see someone as young as him leading the regulator there, really focused on how to make the country better for young people. It's not something that we've really seen in other jurisdictions.
I mean, not to be ageist, and again, I'm on the older side, but like, I don't love that the people who are talking crypto in the USA, the senators have a median age in their 60s. They're not from a time where they can get this. And so we need people like Bilal to come in and to really be sort of helping to get us to think the way that the next generation is going to be thinking. I love what he's doing, and I think, again, that's a theme we are seeing around the world that is so important for us to really hone in on. Again, we should get to Gabby because I think we can make so many analogies between what's happening in Asia to what's happening in Pakistan, to frankly what's happening here in Dubai as well. This is a place that has a different opportunity than we see when we are in New York City, and we kind of have the luxury of a very established infrastructure there, especially around finance. They don't have that everywhere, and there's this opportunity everywhere.
I think we should get to Gabby now to continue the conversation.
Yes.
Joining us at the desk is Gabby Dizan. He's the co-founder of YGG Play and almost an honorary team member by this point, Gabby. You've been with us all over the world. Sam has interviewed you. I've interviewed you.
I know.
You heard what we were just talking about.
I'll just keep hanging out here.
Yeah, just keep hanging out. Maybe one day you can become an official member of the team. But just talk to us a little bit from your perspective. When you look at the Asian market, when you look at what you've built in the Philippines and other Asian countries, how are you seeing the state of crypto evolve there?
Yeah, I think the ability to transfer value cross-border is super important. Obviously, a lot of people in the Philippines interacted with crypto during Play to Earn with games like Axie and others, and with the YUG ecosystem. But even people who aren't necessarily quote-unquote in crypto but are getting paid in stablecoins, for example. There's a huge freelance population in the Philippines doing things like content creation, moderation for companies in the US and elsewhere. And the ability to get paid in stablecoins is such a huge deal.
I want to level set for just a second because we spoke about freelancers with Bilal also. And just for our audience, what is the problem that freelancers in countries like the Philippines and Pakistan face when it comes to getting paid?
Yeah, it's just very expensive to get wire transfers. Sometimes they get blocked. People ask you, why are you getting paid from abroad? What's the reason for this? And then there's the fees, whether you're getting paid via PayPal or Wise or something else. So just the ability to hold your money in USDC and then be able to convert it to fiat, Philippine pesos, when you want to, I think it's a huge deal.
And it sounds like there are so many people who are hungry to say, I want to use the best talent around the world. It doesn't matter whether they're in the Philippines. If they're a great designer, they're a great designer. If they're a great coder, they're a great coder. And the benefit is it should mean an average to the highest rate globally, right? It's, we can try to hire someone in New York City and they want $50 an hour. You might be able to go to the Philippines and get someone who's even better for $15 an hour. But that person should be paid what they're worth the way that we look at
Absolutely.
it. And so I think it's such a big opportunity that stablecoins will have power. I want to go back to what you guys, you have, LOL Land is over here. I saw the booth earlier. There's a bunch of kind of gaming things happening around the show. What's going on here in Dubai that's exciting you?
Yeah, so now we're here to show off our YGG Play platform. So we're showing off a slate of different casual games, starting with LOL Land, our first game. We've now signed 4 other games to the platform, and so there's now a bunch of different things that people can do to play within our ecosystem.
And I know that YGG Play recently launched this questing platform, points-based questing platform. Full disclosure, I worked for a gaming company for a little bit that tried to do this. And it was riddled with bots. It was hard to incentivize players to stay. How are you solving for those challenges?
Yes, those are real problems. I think anytime that you're trying to give out value in crypto, bots will come, people will try to extract value. So we're doing a number of things. One is that a lot of the value is gated under like some form of payment. It doesn't have to be a lot. Sometimes you have to pay $1, $5, right? But if you give something for free, then people will take advantage of it, right? So especially crypto now, there's a lot of people who know how to run bots. And then you have your point system. So we do track the reputation of each wallet, see the behavior that they do. Do they look like they're automated? Do they look like they're real players? Do they connect their Telegram or their Discord accounts to it so that we can have some kind of proof of personhood? So we try to triangulate the behavior and see if they're actual community members.
When we think of this sort of casual degen, as you call them, someone who's sort of casually playing games, maybe they're trying to earn here, but really they're also just trying to have fun, get a little bit of a break. Every time I look at the top charts in the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, like those kinds of games are still there.
Absolutely.
How long before you think we have one of your types of games that's going to break into that strata?
I worked in casual games before moving to crypto, and I remember the time when people thought the quote-unquote real games were the console games, high fidelity games. And when games like Candy Crush came out, people were like, oh, that's not a real game. And when Axie came out, like 10 years later, people were like, oh, that's not a real game. And so now we have games like Lowland, which kind of plays like Monopoly Go. And people are like, oh, is that a real game? But yeah, we're starting to see a lot of the parallels. But yes, it's a real game. It has crypto-enabled elements. People are having fun. So yeah, I think people like it.
I would also love us to stop wanting to judge any game of being real. If people enjoy playing it,
Absolutely.
right? And they get a smile and maybe gives them a break from the day. It's worth doing.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about the kinds of conversations you're having with folks visiting the booth.
So what's interesting here is that obviously this is a very curated with the Binance community, and they're not gamers first, unlike our YGG Play Summit, which are gamers first. A lot of people here are traders first, so they may not know a lot about YGG or what we're doing. They've probably seen the token on Binance, so it's been a really good educational process and telling them, hey, we've been around, this is the company behind the ticker you see on Binance. This is what people do. And yeah, it's been very encouraging. People are actually really interested to learn more.
Gabby, thanks so much for joining us at the desk. I'm sure we'll see you around and probably at the next event.
Good seeing you, Gabby.
All right.
All right, that was YGG Play co-founder Gabby Dizon. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We're coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai, brought to you by Cello. Both Cello and Binance are bringing the benefits of digital assets to everyday users around the globe. Our next guest has that same mission. Please welcome Chief Technology Officer of Wallet Connect, Derek Rain. Hey Derek.
Hey Jen, how's it going?
Not
Good
bad.
to be here.
Yeah, good to have you here. We're here in Dubai. Talk to us about what you've been getting up to. How are you looking at the local market to inform what you're building over at Wallet Connect?
I think UAE is interesting because myself, I live in the UAE, I live in Dubai, and UAE is always pushing forward. They want to be first in innovation, and obviously for now that means that you're first in payments. And so yeah, and Wallet Connect is all about payments now. And for instance, we're live with Shopify, we're live with Stripe, we're live with DTC Pay in Asia, which is one of the biggest PSPs there. We have some exciting announcements coming, and there's also going to be some announcements here in the UAE.
Derek, tell us, the arc of Wallet Connect I think is really fascinating. It really felt like in the beginning of the crypto boom in the 2020, 2021 stage, people, especially with NFTs, started to find out, how do I connect, because I need to figure out how I get to play this, or I get to earn this, or I get to airdrop this. And you guys really were able to figure out, how do we bring all these disparate wallets together? Now, when you think about 5 years later, from at least that kind of pivotal moment, where are we today with wallets? Are we going to a future where we're not going to think about wallets?
No, I don't think so. Wallets are here to stay, I think even more so. So this year we're going to do roughly 400 billion in volume. That's mostly actually institutional wallets. So it's not the way most users know the brand as a wallet or as infrastructure for end users. It's a lot of it is infrastructure for institutions, but I think people secure a lot of funds in their wallets. It's not going to go away. You still want something that you trust, and I think what's exciting for us now is moving further into payments. I think with stablecoins, it has proven that end users actually want to spend crypto. So this is new. 4 years ago, when the time frame you're referencing, people wanted to just hodl, maybe do NFTs, stuff like that. But now they actually want to spend crypto. I think yesterday there was a tweet showing that we're at roughly 400 million volume for those crypto cards monthly. That's just 0.1 basis points of card volume in total, but it still proves people want to spend their crypto, and cards are a crutch, and that's where Wallet Connect Pay comes in. And so yeah, that's what we're pumped about, and I think 5 years from now, a lot of the volume that cards are doing today is going to be non-card rails, and yeah.
I think, and Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, I think maybe where Sam was going with that was there is obviously a need for wallets, but are we going to call them wallets in the future, or is it just going to look like a platform like when we log into our online banking where all of our currencies, our assets are there, and we can do the same kinds of things that we can functionally do with a wallet today?
Yeah, I think your guess is correct. Obviously, we were dreaming about the institutions coming in and banks coming in and whatnot. Now we have tons of neobanks. All these crypto card companies, they call themselves neobanks. So obviously it's going to be abstracted from the user. One day Chase and all other banks are going to have crypto, and yeah, the end users are probably ideally not even going to know about that. It's just going to be better technology. So yeah, I think when you look at the pie chart 5 years ago, it was 100% DeFi native. That pie chart is now smaller, and it's going to get, or the DeFi native, crypto native chunk of the pie chart is going to get smaller and smaller. And yeah, all the incumbents are going to have to add crypto rails.
You know, I love that you say that, because we had Self on here, Self XYZ earlier, really focused on digital identity. Wallets are, I think, a big opportunity in digital identity. You mentioned the fact of all the institutional behind the scenes that's happening on an enterprise level. It feels like there is a moment that we are going to be getting where we're going to say the wallet, however it's going to show up on our phone, let's say, is really just going to be how we control our credentials. And those credentials could be financial, they could be access to the social clubs that we want to go to. They could also be about ourselves and our passports, right? Is that a vision that you see coming to fruition?
Yeah, 100%. I think this old romantic idea that like there's crypto and there's traditional finance, like also that chunk of the pie chart is going to get smaller and smaller. Like obviously, if we pay in the real world, like we're going to have to interact with regulators, and so you're going to have to, and you don't want to fill a KYC form every time you do that. So obviously your wallet and the Wallet Connect wallet that you have is going to reveal that whatever is required in the UAE and any other geo in a delightful way for the end users, where you don't have to, like with Apple Pay, you don't do a KYC every time you check out. So that's going to be one piece of the puzzle. And then maybe the more esoteric things that we were talking about a couple of years ago, like ZK proving your net worth in order to get into the nightclub. Like I think that's going to be maybe a couple of years downstream of that.
In the future that you're building towards, is there a place for the centralized wallets we use today on our phone, like Apple Wallet?
Yeah, I think for sure. Like Apple, obviously, Android, they can provide the best UX. So and for them, like the cost basis is not the best sitting on top of the traditional card rails. So at some point they're probably going to innovate there. But yeah, I don't have any insights there. I'm only speculating.
But it sounds like Wallet Connect really can be the wallet of wallets in the same way that Apple Pay is a wallet of credit cards, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have this Wallet Connect certified program that 95% of end users use a wallet that's part of that program. And in a few months, that's basically our Fusaka hard fork that happened yesterday for Ethereum, or the equivalent of the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference, like the annual upgrade. The next Wallet Connect upgrade is coming in 3 months with all these wallet partners, and then you're going to have seamless payments, so one-click checkout basically. So on Stripe, Shopify, and point of sale like DTC Pay and some other announcements, it's going to be a one-click checkout. Not fully integrated into the operating system yet, where you do a double click on your iPhone, but you just open the wallet or open the URL, and then it flips into the wallet that you have, and you check out with a delightful experience. So yes.
Short answer, yes.
Derek, thanks so much for joining us at
Thanks,
the desk.
Jen.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Derek.
Thanks for having me.
That was Derek Rain, Wallet Connect CTO. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, more from Binance Blockchain Week.
Join me on Binance.
Hey everyone, you're watching CoinDesk Live. We are coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. Our next guest joins us now. He runs Binance LATAM Community and Events. Luis Jimenez. Hello, Luis.
Yes, hi, how you doing?
Thanks for being here now. Your journey is quite an interesting one. We've talked a lot about education and community here at the desk today.
Yeah.
You started as a Binance angel, then your story was shared in Humans of Binance, and now you run community and events in LATAM. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Wow, it's really, well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I started in 2016. And I involved in crypto where there were no more information for me. Well, I'm a 58 years old guy, and all of the people see me like a rare guy, you know. But there's no rare nothing, because when I was starting in 2016, there were no more information to look for, and I have to tell this because it's true. I lost a lot of money. Okay, because we have no more information. And when Binance came to Latin America, it was at the end of 2018, 2019, that it was the academy, the Binance Academy, that everyone should enter to see, because there's real information. There's a very trusted platform, okay? And I started using Binance Academy. And then in one event in Mexico, I saw there was a crypto coffee or a meetup, I don't remember, it was in Merida because I live in Merida. And I love the culture, the people, the community. I love that, and I like to serve the people. And that's when I realized that I have to be there. I have to be there. And yes, and applied like a Binance Angel, that it's a very, very good program, voluntary program. And I started 2 years and a half from Binance Angel, helping communities, making events in my country, and then it comes the Binance Humans. Then it's really great. And now I'm here. I joined the core team.
Tell us about LATAM. I mean, we've been there a number of times.
Yeah.
There's such a sort of hunger for that region to really grow in the crypto space.
Yeah.
And so it's adopting very quickly.
Yes.
So tell us what's your sense of where LATAM is on its Bitcoin or its crypto journey?
Well, LATAM is a very huge lot of people in LATAM. Okay, especially I'm placed in Mexico, and I see a great adoption now. But I always talk with the people that they have, because they need education. They need education. I think this 2025 it was the route for that education, and I think 2026 is going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger. It's getting bigger every single day. All the communities are growing up in education about crypto. Yes.
We've talked a little bit about different regions around the world, the challenges that the people who live there face. Can you tell us a little bit about the community in Mexico, some of the challenges you face, some of the challenges the community face that crypto is really solving for you?
Well, yes, community, community is all, okay? Without community, we don't make nothing, okay? The only thing, yes, we have to make this kind of events, like crypto coffees, like meetups, like Binance Day, or something, this kind of events. Okay, so we can root all the community to have this information, good information. Okay, challenges, yes, a lot of challenges. I think Latin America is it's on the first steps of adoption, but it's growing fast. It's growing fast. It's growing fast. Yes, a lot of people doesn't want to know about crypto. Okay, a lot of people says yes, I want to know. They're curious. And the only way to find a way to start in crypto or to be in crypto is education. Education is the key.
Do you think that the stablecoin story maybe is one that lands really well there?
Yes, of course. Stablecoins now is the basis of every day. People are start seeing stablecoins like a payment or savings maybe. Okay. And yes, of course, yes, it's really, really good. Before they start talking about, I don't know, Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever other coin, yes, I think stable coins is the most thing that the people need to know. Yes.
Tell us about some of the conversations you've been having here on the floor in Dubai. I'm sure they're maybe a little bit different than the ones that you're having in Mexico.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. No, it's totally different. Yes. I have a flight from Mexico City, 30-hour flight. It was really crazy. You know what, the jet lag and
oh yeah,
all the
we
stuff.
know all about it.
Yes, I'm sure. No. Yes. A lot of people. This is curious because yesterday I was on the stage, obviously talking about the Binance of humans, and a couple of people, some of the 3 or 5 people, they stopped me. Hey, Luis, I love that conversation that you have with Rachel. I identify with your story. Can you talk me a little bit more? Yes. And other kind of conversations, yes, obviously. Crypto, what is this, what is not, the stable coins, I don't know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, okay? But always a nice talk with all the people. I love it. I love it.
So before we leave, just, where do you see your journey next? Are you just becoming a bigger and bigger ambassador to really bring the region up to speed? Is it really the educational lens? Where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go? It's more education. More education. And in Mexico, we need more education. In Latin America, we need more education because it's the pillar. It's the root of the. We have to understand that we are in a financial transition. Okay, Binance is there. Binance is there, and educate people. That's what I'm seeing all day long. I like it. I love to serve. I love to educate people and to share good things from crypto. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Luis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me.
Yes.
That was Luis Jimenez from Binance LATAM Community and Events. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. everyone. Welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We're coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. Our next guest is in town for debate with CZ, founder of Schiff Gold and chief economist for Euro-Pacific Asset Management. Peter Schiff joins us now. Peter, nice to see you again.
Oh, nice to be seen.
All right, the last time you and I spoke, you said when you come to crypto conferences, people come up to you all the time and thank you for introducing them to the path of looking for hard assets, and that sometimes leads them to Bitcoin. Has that happened here yet?
Well, I haven't really heard people say that. A lot of people have come up to me and just asked their selfies and said that, hey, I'm a big fan, I've been following you, but nobody has really mentioned that I'm the reason that they own crypto yet. But I'm sure that's the case. But but that was happening to me very frequently in the U.S. when I was at the conference in May, and probably because I think a lot more people know about me in the United States because that's where I'm based and that's where I initially got popular. So I probably had a lot of influence among Americans who found their way to Bitcoin. When I first got popular was after the financial crisis hit. So 2009, 2010, 2011, and that's when Bitcoin kind of came on the scene, very, underneath the radar. But as people started finding out about it, 2013, 14, 15, 17, a lot of those people were people who had already been reading my stuff and following me. And they eventually ended up at Bitcoin. And had I not opened their eyes to sound money and Austrian economics and this, understanding the Fed and fiat money, they may never have, gotten into Bitcoin, or at least not at the time that they did, because that's when, people got in back then. They can sell and make a lot of money. I think the people who are getting in now and who have gotten in over the last few years, very different story. They're just going to lose a lot of money.
Do you walk around the conference and think all of this is nonsense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when when you look at the extravagant booths and all the tech into it. I mean, I went to the conference for the Western Regional Mortgage Bankers in Las Vegas in 2005 and again in 2006. And I thought the same thing, that I was walking around and I was like, most of these companies are going to go bankrupt, and of course they did. It was all mortgage finance related, subprime companies. But that's where I had, you can see the speech that I gave in 2006, and I came there trying to find investors to short the subprime market because we had just set up a fund to short that market. And you can watch it on YouTube, and pretty much everything I said that was going to happen happened. And most of those companies that were exhibiting did go out of business, and there was a whole financial crisis. So I think all of these blockchain companies and crypto-related companies, I don't think 90+% of them will never make any money, and they will go bankrupt. I mean, there's a few that might figure out how to make some money. I don't know what they're worth. I'm not smart enough to figure out, which of the 5 or 10% aren't going to go bankrupt. So I just assume avoid all of them, knowing what's going to happen. I think it's mostly hype. The whole industry is built on hype, and a lot of it just comes from the tremendous gains that people who got into crypto years ago have. Now, a lot of the gains are on paper because that's just numbers, but obviously, a lot of money has been taken out. But that's only been made possible by the money that's come in over the last few years. In fact, a lot of the people now, with a lot of the buying that has been, the result of maybe Trump being elected and, Trump prioritizing Bitcoin and crypto and trying to, steer money in that direction. You've had a lot of Wall Street money coming in, these the ETFs first, and then all these, crypto treasury companies, and that's provided a lot more liquidity. And so a lot of the guys that got in 10, 15 years ago have been selling into that and finally realizing these gains. But their realized gains are going to come at the expense of some huge losses, because the money that's coming into crypto now, it's never coming out, right? It's going into the hands of the sellers, but then the rest of it is just going to evaporate because the prices are going to implode. and there's just going to be nothing left because this whole thing is like a giant pyramid, Ponzi scheme, chain letter. I mean, this is not new. It's just a new way to pull off an old con. Right? This stuff has been going on for centuries. This isn't new.
So Peter, it sounds like you don't really have faith that the digital asset ecosystem will be meaningful in the future compared to the sort of real assets you're wearing on your wrist, on your fingers, the gold, silver, things like that.
Well, I think most digital assets are just BS. I mean, they're fake assets. They're not going to have any value. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be any value added by, blockchain or tokenization. In fact, one of the things I'm going to discuss with CZ, which got me here, is tokenizing gold and what kind of value that can add to the gold market by representing ownership of gold through a token, which means that it's easier for me or anybody to transfer that ownership to a third party. And so if it's easier to exchange gold, then it's even a better form of money. It makes it more divisible, it makes it more portable, and so especially now, where I may want to transact with somebody on the other side of the world, if I can pay them or they can pay me in gold, but we can do that through token, a blockchain, and it's very quick and very inexpensive, then there's value there. I mean, it makes gold a more valuable form of money. But the reason that tokenized gold would have value is because there's gold there. I mean, when they say Bitcoin is digital gold, no, it's not. It's not digital. It's digital, but it isn't gold. Tokenized gold would be digital gold because it's actually gold. But Bitcoin is actually nothing, right? You can't. There's nothing that you can substitute gold for. I mean, Bitcoin for gold. Like if I needed something, if I needed gold, they couldn't say, well, why don't you use Bitcoin instead? Bitcoin doesn't have any of the properties that gold has, so it can't. It's not a replacement. But if I have tokenized gold and I need gold, I can buy the token and then take delivery of the gold, and I can make jewelry out of it, or I can put it in a cell phone, or I could use it in in medicine, or wherever gold is used. I could use the tokenized gold for that.
Now, we're running out of time here. I just want to say quickly, you're going to continue the conversation with CZ on stage later. He said on X last night that he was a little nervous. Quickly, before we wrap up, what's your message to CZ before?
How would he possibly nervous? First of all, he's got the home court advantage here, right? And look, I mean, CZ's made a ton of money already in crypto. So, I mean, he's got, it's like, I'm not worried about CZ. And, he's running the biggest crypto casino in the world. Right, this is a desert, right? I'm in the U.S. and I was just speaking to somebody working here who grew up in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas has casinos. Binance is probably the world's biggest casino, right? Everybody is gambling, and he's the house. The house always wins, right? That's when it comes to gambling, you want to be the house, and he doesn't even have to serve drinks, give people free drinks. Or he doesn't have to. They just gamble. So it's a good business.
Peter, we look forward to hearing the debate later on stage. Thanks for joining us at the desk.
All right, my pleasure.
Thank you, Peter.
That was founder of Schiff Gold and chief economist for Euro Pacific Asset Management, Peter Schiff. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, more from Binance Blockchain Week. welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. Our next guest joins us now, founder of Athena Labs, Guy Young. Hey, Guy.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing fantastic. The conversations keep on rolling here at the desk. Now, I've just let the audience know we are at Binance Blockchain Week. There's so many conversations happening here in Dubai. You're from Portugal. Talk to us about the types of conversations you've been having.
Yeah, I think it's just been a great collection of people that have flown in. I think you've seen from the quality of the speakers that have come through. I think good mix of project teams, exchanges, investors. I would have thought that the mood might have been slightly lower after what happened 2 months ago in terms of the market sort of liquidations and stuff, but it seems like all pretty positive on the ground in general. Yeah.
Guy, Jen and I were talking. I was interested in the idea that there's so many different models of how people are leveraging stablecoins these days. Athena has your version of it. A lot of folks are sort of one-to-one pegged. Where do you think all the variety comes from? What sort of made you make your decision of how you look at the way in which your stablecoins are structured?
Yes, I think just to open up, we actually tried to call our main product USD not even a stablecoin itself, so we gave it a different name called synthetic dollar. And that was quite intentional because we do think that it is important to distinguish between what's a very clean, simple, fiat-backed stablecoin, which is kind of what Genius is trying to do now in terms of the regulation you're seeing come out of the US. And then there's just a basket of other. And within that other, I think that's generally where people have experimented more around what are you putting in there as the collateral, how's it generating returns, and all those different pieces. I think the fundamental drive behind it, though, is if you really think about it at its core, these are extremely commoditized products, right? You have to be $1, and that's kind of all you're doing. So how do you compete with someone who's a multi-$100 billion business when the product is so simple and comparable? The only real answer that you have is actually how do you do something different on the return side and how you're sort of sharing that with users. And so that's why I think you have seen and will continue to see different experimentation around how do you generate a higher return on dollars, essentially, because that's usually the way that you can try and bootstrap growth with these products. Yeah.
I know at the end of last month you said on X that there are 2 brand new business lines coming within the next 3 months. Are you able to give us any alpha there?
Not, unfortunately.
None at all?
There's one that slightly got leaked yesterday on Twitter, but I'll leave that as
leave that to the X sleuths. All right, let's just talk about what you want to kind of get out of being here at Binance Blockchain Week when it comes to what you're building, the things maybe you can't tell us about yet. What's the benefit of coming to an event like this?
Yeah, so I think Binance and Athena have always had a pretty strong relationship as businesses, and I think the genesis for that, right, is that Athena, by the nature of its product, is one of the largest accounts on exchanges in general because we're shorting derivatives. So I think at any moment in time in the last 18 months, Athena definitely had the largest balance that was sitting on a Binance account in total, and obviously the flows that come with that are pretty beneficial because we bring lower interest rates to the users who are sitting on the exchange. We bring flows, liquidity, all those different pieces to the derivative market. Equally, on the other side, exchanges are obviously one of the largest distribution channels for products like Athena's, right, which is 300 million users plus that are sitting on Binance. There's maybe a few million that are sitting within DeFi, and so the distribution that you get, I think, working closely with these centralized exchanges still continues to be the most dominant forms of getting your product out in the hands of real users. So we had USD listed on Binance maybe 4 or 5 months ago now, which is a pretty big moment for us, obviously unlocking that to the users that they had. And for us, it's really coming here to try and engage with the users and the people who are most engaged with our platform, because we just see it as such an important distribution channel for what we do. Yeah.
The last number of months have been quite volatile in the crypto ecosystem. How do you steward your project, your company through all that? There's been so many ups and downs. Are you guys just really focused on the long-term goal? How do you sort of react to the market blips that go on?
Yeah, I think it affected us more in the beginning, I'd say, when you're just less used to it. You're obviously signing up for this stuff, you're in crypto, it's not like you're expecting no volatility. But I think naturally, Athena's product is actually quite reflexive to the market cycle, right? When interest rates go high, the product's growing like crazy, it goes higher than you would ever expect. And then when market rates and leverage and stuff collapse, it obviously comes down with the market in general. So I think that's the nature of producing a reflexive product like we do have. But I think the team now is less affected by these type of events where we just sort of know the market comes back at some point in time. And these are actually very good moments to just be quite quiet and focused on building the platform for the next stage of growth when it does come back. And in many ways, you don't have as many distractions as when the market's going as crazy in the beginning.
Guy, thanks so much for joining us at the desk. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Sarah.
Guy.
That was Athena Labs founder, Guy Young. We're going to take a quick break and chat about what's going on.
Join me on Binance.
Hey everyone, welcome back to CoinDesk Live. We are coming to you from Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. We are trucking right along, Sam. Some
We are.
really great conversations we've had here at the desk. We just spoke to Peter Schiff, and I just want to put it out there. I think that he said he might believe in the technology a little bit more
Around
than
tokenization.
he's led on.
I think, well, look, he told us both off camera as well as on camera how much he is interested in the idea of gold being a hard asset to move around
Yep.
physically,
Yep.
but that tokenization and custody of such can be a game changer for that world. So that to me sounds like he's kind of interested in tokenization, which is something we hear generally from
Often.
the TradFi folks. That's the part they get.
Yeah.
What I think that Peter clearly has an issue with is the idea of digital first
Yeah.
assets. And I wonder if we, you know what, I'm not going to say we. Let's leave it to CZ
Yeah.
on stage soon to try to convince him differently.
Yeah, I look forward to that debate. I think we're probably going to hear it through the curtain here. People who aren't able to follow along because they're not at the event, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of updates on social media, so they can check it out there. I think we are going to, we're going to keep going. Our last guests are coming soon, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to them,
Yes.
the new co-CEOs of Binance. Of course, we had an announcement come out of Binance Blockchain Week yesterday.
Yep.
Iha, the co-founder of Binance, is now joining Richard as co-CEO. So I look forward to hearing from them about how they're thinking about the evolution of Binance as we move into 2026.
Look, I think we know Binance is really one of the biggest names in the space. They are, I still believe, the largest exchange in the world. And I can imagine there's a ton that has to get done, especially when you think of the global imprint that they have. So it'll be really interesting to hear how they're going to go back and forth in their role. I know Iha also focuses very much on the customer service piece of it. It's in her title. And so I want to ask her about that, about how do you keep people this happy in a world where, again, their volatility is so much, where people are sort of constantly, sort of upset, joyous, all the kind of emotional ups and downs that come with the crypto ecosystem. So we're going to hear from them, which I think would be really exciting. And look, I think we're there.
Yeah, I mean, on the back of that, it was so wonderful hearing from Luis Jimenez, started as a Binance Angel. We've seen several Binance Angels around here and then has moved up in the ranks. Now he's on the core team. It's just incredible hearing success stories like that come out of the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get to our last segment now, the success story of the event, closing out our coverage of Binance Blockchain Week from Dubai. The two leaders at the helm of the ecosystem, Binance co-CEOs Yi He and Richard Tang. Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Congratulations on becoming co-CEO E along with Richard. We're really excited to talk to the two of you about your vision for Binance as we move into 2026. But let's just start with Binance Blockchain Week. Talk to us a little bit about what's happened so far and what you're looking forward to throughout the
So we're very excited. I mean, we have great speakers lined up from traditional finance as well as the Web3 space, from the likes of BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, to Ripple, to many others joining us. So we are in this journey together. We are excited about the path forward.
Thank you for bringing us over here. It's been so exciting to be able to speak to everyone. The thing that is so exciting for me is the energy that people are bringing. We spoke to so many builders, investors, founders at this desk, and every one of them talks about the region and talks about that Binance is, from an ecosystem perspective, a wonderful partner in helping to bring all of this together. So, what is it you think is the special sauce that Binance brings to these partners that gets them so excited to work with you?
I mean, if you look at what E and CZ has managed to build from the start at outset, right? This is a very user-focused platform. We always place our users at the front and center of every key decision that we make on that front. So by now we're the largest crypto ecosystem, largest crypto exchange with with close to 300 million users, right? Deepest liquidity, deepest market, and we continue to focus on building all the important utilities, stable coins, crypto payments, the likes of tokenization, etc. And the path forward is one that we're going to see a lot of momentum, which is why you see people here are very, very excited about the future's prospect of blockchain and crypto. So we are working with many people around the globe, but this region is also especially special as well, right? You see the crypto adoption rising very quickly with very supportive regulations. So we look forward to doing much more.
You come from the role as Chief Customer Success Officer. Talk to us about how you're going to bring that into your new role as co-CEO. What are your insights on Binance's customers and their needs?
So as a majority shareholder, I really care about the company. We want to build a real green company. And 2 years ago, I began to manage the HR part. And I'm really very funny about how to empower the organization, how to build a real green company. That's what I want to focus part. And another part is I'm a crypto DJ and I'm OG. And I think this part change probably will let the community feel much confidence. And I will spend more time waiting for user feedback, improve our product, and building better platform.
I think E understated her role, right? So E has been an inspiring female leader, right? Yeah. Anybody that knows crypto industry and knows Binance knows that E has been involved from day one in terms of building this to where it is today, right? So she's extremely passionate, extremely user-focused, and she continues to shape, the vision of Binance, the culture of Binance, our user-focused mentality, our bottom-up strategy on that front. She plays a very, very critical role in our development as an entity. So I look forward to working very closely with E as we continue to chart the path towards 1 billion users.
I would love to understand a little bit about how we get there. I think you guys, again, you've 300 million users, an amazing achievement. How do we get that to 500,000? What new products do we need to come into the market in order to bring them in?
Well, the pace of growth is very strong. So we started 2024 with 170 million users. Today we reached close to 300 million. So you see that adoption rate very, very quick. If you look at just Binance Pay, the number of merchants that are signing up to Binance Pay in 2025, earlier this year, stands at 12,000. Today we are close to 21 million, right? So exponential pace of growth. So what we have to do is to continue to focus on making sure that we bring more users in through knowledge, through imparting knowledge, something that we're very passionate about, through things like Binance Academy, Binance Square, working to advance all the utility, right? The stable coins, crypto payments, tokenization, and all the important use cases, and working globally with regulators and policymakers to bring in much greater clarity to really support this industry in terms of supporting the innovation aspect of it while managing the growth. Because the more clarity, the more this industry will grow very quickly. You saw what happened in the United States. Went from anti-crypto to now giving a lot of clarity, wanting to be the crypto capital of the world. So that transformation is huge, and it forces every country around the world to sit up, take notice, and reposition themselves to maintain their competitive edge.
We've talked a lot about regulation here at the desk, especially in the region, and talked about how forward-thinking the region is when it comes to regulation. Talk to us a little bit about working with the regulator here in Dubai, and then tell us a little bit about your regulatory strategy moving forward for Binance.
I'm biased because I used to be a regulator
I know.
in this region.
I set you up for a real. I really gave you a slam dunk here.
So you look at when I was a regulator in Abu Dhabi global market, we were one of the first in the world to start regulating the crypto sector in 2018. And you see actually the Middle East region, whether it's Abu Dhabi, whether it's Dubai, Bahrain, really ahead of the curve compared to many other regulators in terms of understanding this technology and embracing this technology, right? So we are doing a lot from all these jurisdictions, and we are working with other jurisdictions within the Middle East region to really embrace and support this technology.
And talk to us about your regulatory strategy moving forward. Are there new jurisdictions you're looking to move into in 2026, or regulators you're in discussion with?
We are the most regulated platform by now. We are regulated in 21 different jurisdictions, right? So going forward, as part of our global deployment plan, as part of our plan to bring in even more users, naturally we have to get licensed in many other places, right? So that footprint will continue to grow quite quickly.
All right, my final question. There's a big debate coming up. Peter Schiff versus CZ on stage. Do we think CZ can convince Peter of the value of digital assets?
So first of all, everyone knows CZ is retired, and I think he's enjoying his life, and he's like wanna rise the whole crypto community. That's his passion. But I think he's not have any involved to Binance.com. And I think we are enough macho, and we can take that responsibility, but never say never. But internally, I think I usually say we are a very flexible organization structure. And even the company doesn't have say on me. And I think every middle leader, they still can drive strongly growth. That's because we have a very unique organization structure. And I usually say I'm not as like a leader. I'm still everyone chief customer service officer. That's including user part and our employee part. And I just solve the problem, help them get things done.
Yeah, Richard, thank you so much for joining us at the desk. Richard, before I wrap us up here, do you think CZ is going to convince Peter Schiff?
The prediction market has it that CZ is going to win.
Okay.
It's 90-10 now, so you know we know where the bets are going.
Thank you so much for having us
Thank
at the
you.
event. Thank you for joining us at the desk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
That was Binance co-CEO Zhi He and Richard Teng. All right, Sam, that is the end of day 2. Time has flown.
Truly.
Yeah, we had a lot of great conversations here.
I think we did. I think we wrapped it up the way we should have with our host who brought us over here. I think, we shouldn't sleep on the fact that Binance really pushes this industry forward in such a dramatic way. Richard, Iha, they're both really focused, I think, on where the future of this goes, but I think, as we heard, on the customers themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really the most important thing in crypto. It is a volatile industry. We need people to feel comfortable in it, and I think they're trying to do their best.
Yeah, and I want to sum that up based on some of our experiences and conversations we've had here. The Binance Angels, like we spoke about before, and we've talked with here on the show floor, really focused on education in different regions. We heard Luis Jimenez from Latin America talking about Binance Academy and how Binance Academy is really educating the community there on how to interact with the Binance platform for the challenges that they're experiencing. And then we spoke with Rachel about the children's book, the ABCs, and Binance Junior. So, like I said earlier on in the show, we talk so much about education in this space, but it really does feel like Binance is putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to education, when it comes to education that is sectored out for different people who are experiencing different problems. And it seems to be working when we hear some of the stories that come out of the community.
Absolutely. And look, I want to thank Binance for bringing us there. Cello, also a great partner for CoinDesk. And I think, they're a chain that's been doing a lot in the payments and remittance space, which, like a few of our other friends in the space, the people who put the work in are now kind of able to reap the benefits and the rewards of having an infrastructure that is ready for where the crypto industry is going to go. And we're seeing a lot of that happening on the ground here in Dubai.
And you and I, a lot of these live desks we do, we skew kind of heavily towards the institutional conversation. I think that there is a big institutional conversation happening here in Dubai. Of course, we took a look at some of the stats at the beginning of yesterday's show, but I really loved the balance of the conversation we had here. We talked about users from all over the world. We talked about how regulators are looking at the specific challenges and needs of real people, and then we talked about how the technology and stablecoins can solve some of the challenges for institutions. So I really enjoyed that well-rounded content that we got to bring our audience.
Yeah, this felt like an event that has every flavor, which is not always the case for us, frankly. I think we've seen events where it's very institutional focused. We've seen events where it's very culture focused. This one is a good mix of all of it. We're in the Coca-Cola Arena here, which is a kind of fun place to be having the event itself. And Dubai is very much on the map for crypto, so I'm sure we'll be back.
Well, CZ and Peter Schiff are debating on stage later on today. I haven't seen Tom Lee, but I heard he's around, and I'm waiting to find him to get a Tom Lee price prediction by the end of the year. You and I got our Bitcoin price predictions down.
Yeah.
We have a little competition going. I think Bitcoin is going to hit $110,000 by the end of this year, so December 31st, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And Sam, what was your prediction?
99,000. I will say right now, I am only 5,500 away.
I know, but there is still so much time to December 31st, and I'm really banking and betting on that Santa rally.
27 days in crypto is an
Santa-
eternity.
27 days is an eternity, and I'm banking on Santa. All right, we are going to wrap it up there. Let us know on social media who you agree with. Will I win the competition at $110,000 by the end of the year, or will Sam win the competition? Feel free to share your own Bitcoin predictions with us on social media as well. For Sam Ewan, I'm Jen Sanasi. Thanks so much for joining us from Binance Blockchain Week. That's a wrap. Goodbye.